Okay, 1st of February, who has kept their New Year's resolutions? Dry January, cutting out sugar, getting your 10k steps in every day, going to the gym 4 times a week, eating vegetables. It's a lot. If you haven't kept all of them, don't worry. In this video, I want to simply share with you why we've overcomplicated health and how we can not overcomplicate it with the 5 things that the people living in the blue zones do. So no biohacking protocols, no fasting windows, no latest superfood or health supplement or any of that malarkey. These are the 5 key things that the people living in the blue zones do. And just to provide some context about the blue zones, these are the healthiest places in the world and have the highest concentration of people living over 100 years of age. Number 1, and arguably the most important and probably not surprising, is food, is nutrition. Now, we could be here all day, but I want to keep this video short, and I just simply want to give you the 5 reasons why, on a top level perspective, why these are the healthiest people in the world, and food is obviously being one of them. Now, keeping it as simple as possible, I've shown you in my full day of eating videos before. Not saying that is perfect and not saying that will allow me to live to 100 like the people in the blue zones, but they simply keep it as simple as possible. A lot of them in the blue zones have their own gardens. I know that's not accessible for us, so they grow all their own crops and all that kind of stuff. So simply, with the whole food being number 1, is they keep it as simple and as delicious as possible. They keep simple ingredients, nothing processed, nothing that comes in packages or anything like that. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be doing that. If we can follow the 80% natural and grown out of the ground and all that kind of stuff food at 80%, and 20% is the packaged convenience stuff, then that is more than good enough. Okay, number 2, and apologies for all the young parents, but it is sleep. Sleep is the most powerful recovery tool we have. Now, more and more studies have shown us just how valuable sleep is. Even people that used to say, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or they used to view sleep as a waste of time because they could just power through it and get on with the day, even those perceptions are starting to go out the window. It's so important that we carve out a good, I'm not even going to put a number on it, well actually I am, because the typical range is 6 to 8 hours of good quality sleep. And studies have shown, right? Research has shown that sleep is the best recovery tool for us. I've said this before, but if you ask professional athletes what their best recovery tool is, it's not a sauna, it's not an ice bath, it's not massages, it's sleep. It's the best thing for us to repair our body, our muscles, our joints, and more importantly, our mind. Now, the third one is nature. Now, I know a lot of us live in cities, or we live in suburban areas and still commute into the office 2 or 3 times a week into cities. So it is very hard to live within nature because just the majority of jobs that we're all in come from cities. So, but it has been shown, all of these places, those 5 places that I listed there with the blue zones, they all have something in common, and that is they're all in beautiful surroundings, in settings either by the beach or in mountains, just submersed in nature. And if you think about it, and this will sound a bit woozy to you, but to some of you, but humans, we weren't designed or created to live within cities, right? We were always naturally in nature. And if you think about it, cities, they're 100 miles an hour. You're always really indoors. You're not getting any natural you're not being in nature. You're just surrounded by concrete blocks of buildings and apartment and sky rises and all that kind of stuff. And it's just not a natural for us. However, like I said, a lot of us need to be in cities for jobs, etc. So important that we can try and get out in nature as much as possible on the weekend, go for a hike, or even just during the week, go to your local park and get in nature. See greenery, try and get some sunshine on the back of your neck. Just trying to not necessarily be out in nature like into the mountains, but just try and be outside, not be just always inside. If you think about it, it's so easy for us to be inside, right? We're at home, we go in our car or go on the train for our commute, we go into the office, we can literally be inside all day. And it's no surprise that so many of us are either burnt out, or there's more diseases now than ever, or people are unhappier, and that is because I believe that people aren't spending as much time outdoors as they should be. Fourth is regular movement. It doesn't have to be CrossFit, Peloton, training for a marathon. Yes, those things are great, but though that's not the be all and end all. I've said this before, that the unhealthiest that I was ever at in my life was actually when I did CrossFit for an hour in the morning, and then I'd just sit on my ass all day, or I'd be in the office, or then I'd go home and just sit on the sofa. The healthiest way to be is regular, constant movement. So a 20-minute walk in the morning, a 5-minute get up off your desk and go for a little move about at 10 a.m, a 30-minute walk after your lunch, a 20-minute walk after dinner, just this constant movement, right? And this is shown in the blue zones that they just factor movement and regular movement as a natural form of movement into their daily life, right? It doesn't have to be a dramatic bike ride or a HIIT session or anything like that. The best thing that we can do is regular movement, and this then of course is lower stress on our bodies and our joints, but it's still getting the blood pumping around our body and our mind. And fifth and final one is community. Now, if we think about how much our lives have changed and how the world operates and how our daily lives have changed, right? Everything is done online, and it's so easy to spend more and more time by ourselves. And this is a correlation, again, like what I mentioned to you earlier, of why people are more burnt out and why we're seeing all these mental health issues, is because people are spending more time by themselves. I think we could all agree that if we've spent a long period of time by ourselves and then we meet up with a group of friends, or even just a friend, or have a conversation with a friend, we instantly feel so much better, right? As humans, we're naturally social creatures. As much as some of us like our own time, me included, to recharge the batteries and just relax and all that kind of stuff, we always know just how much better we feel when we're surrounded by people, because you have a sense of belonging, you can rely on people. It's nice to be relied upon as well. It's nice having friends come to you with not even just problems, but just things that they want to discuss. It makes you feel good. So having a good sense of community and belonging is really a necessity for good health for the mind and the body.